If you're drawn to real stories about how relationships unravel, you're in the right place. They titled my story online, "Cheating Wife Exposed, Doesn't Get a Dime from the Divorce." Sounds dramatic, but the reality was quieter than that. It wasn't just about catching her. It was about watching a woman throw away the one lifeline she'd been given and walk away with nothing but an old Ford and a bad reputation. My name's Daniel, 33. My ex-wife? Kelsey, 31. We were married 8 years. When people hear how it ended, they either call me cold or they call me smart. Truth is, I was neither. I was just done. When I met Kelsey, she was already a story with a past tense. She'd lost custody of her 2 kids from her first marriage. Her ex-husband, Rob, had full custody because back then, she'd been deep into drugs, spiraling, using, losing everything that made her a mother. She told me all of this early on, not as a confession, really, but as a warning. "I'm not that person anymore," she'd said. "I did rehab. I got clean. I fought to get supervised visits. I'm rebuilding." Most guys would have run. I didn't. I told myself I was different, that I was understanding, patient, not like other men. I told myself I was helping rescue someone who just needed a stable place to land. Looking back now, that rescuer story cost me more than I ever realized.
Women aren't the only ones who ignore red flags. Men do it too, just with different excuses. Daniel didn't choose Kelsey randomly. He chose someone whose broken past made him feel needed. That dynamic is powerful. He has stability. She has chaos and pain. Together, he feels like the one who saved her. That savior role is intoxicating. It also blinds you. Because if you build a relationship on "I fixed you," you can miss the signs that someone isn't healed, just better at hiding it. And people with old addictions often trade substances for validation, attention, or adrenaline. Sometimes, the new drug is excitement.
I wasn't rich, but I wasn't struggling either. My dad left me a small portfolio of rental properties, 4 little houses scattered around the city. Paid off. After expenses, they brought in about $7,000 a month. On top of that, I worked full-time as a network engineer. Good salary, solid benefits. We lived in Georgia, in a decent rental house in a quiet neighborhood. Nothing fancy, nothing flashy, but comfortable. Kelsey worked part-time as a customer service associate. Honestly, she didn't have to. I covered everything. Rent, utilities, food, insurance, her car, her phone. She had her own account, but the real weight? That was on me. I didn't mind. I told myself, this is what a good husband does. Our sex life? 2, sometimes 3 times a week. Affection, inside jokes, movie nights on the couch. Nothing felt broken to me. Not at first. It was after New Year's that things started to feel off. Before that, movie nights meant Kelsey tucked under my arm, legs over my lap, always touching me somehow. Then, slowly, that changed. She started sitting at the other end of the couch, her body angled away, tablet in her hand. When I'd move closer, she'd shift the screen, like she was shielding it. At first, I brushed it off. Maybe work messages, maybe doom scrolling, maybe she was just tired. But one night, it got to me. We were supposed to be watching a movie together. I realized she hadn't looked up at the TV in 20 minutes. I finally snapped. "What are you doing that's so important you can't watch the movie?" I asked. She clutched the tablet closer. "Nothing. Relax." Something in her tone, cold, dismissive, hit me wrong. "Then put it down," I said. She refused. I reached for it. She jerked it away, stood up hard enough to jolt the couch, and stormed off to the bedroom, slamming the door behind her. That night, I slept on the couch. Not because I was kicked out, because I couldn't stand the weight of pretending everything was normal.
Cheating doesn't start with the affair. It starts with quiet disengagement. Emotional first, physical later. She pulls away. She guards her phone. She avoids direct questions. Then she flips the script and makes him the problem. That's not distance. That's active concealment. For someone with a history of self-destruction, this behavior suggests one thing. She's not just unhappy. She's already doing something she's afraid to lose.
When you go from regular intimacy to nothing, your body notices before your brain catches up. So I did what a lot of men do when their gut starts screaming. I checked the phone bill. Nothing obvious. So I tried the next layer. While she was at work, I installed a small GPS tracker in her car. Voice-activated recorder, too. I wanted timestamps, locations, her words, when she thought no one else could hear. The first couple days, nothing major. Just her venting about me, calling me boring, controlling, like the guy paying every bill was somehow the villain. I let it slide. Words hurt, but they're not betrayal. The third time I checked the recorder, that's when the bottom dropped out. "I got off work early and went to Brad's house," she said casually. "We hooked up. He's so good in bed. Then I went over to Trey's, the guy living with his mom. Best part? Daniel doesn't suspect a thing." 2 men. Her boss, married, and a random guy living with his mother. She didn't just cheat. She double-booked.
Cheating once is betrayal. Cheating twice in the same day is contempt. This wasn't loneliness. It wasn't confusion. It was thrill-seeking, impulse, power. And the cruel part? They almost always assume their partner will stay.
At that point, I wasn't thinking about emotion anymore. I was thinking about court. In Georgia, if you prove adultery, alimony disappears. So I hired a private investigator. I wanted evidence, photos, patterns, truth that didn't care about excuses. Within a week, I had it. Pictures of her kissing her boss, climbing into his car, laughing like the world was perfect. I sat in my car and flipped through every photo. Not shocked, just finished. My lawyer didn't hesitate. "Divorce based on infidelity," he said. "No alimony." Before she ever saw the papers, I cleaned up quietly. Cards canceled. Beneficiaries changed. Documents organized. I moved into the guest room. She didn't ask why. She assumed I'd stay.
She wasn't confused. She was comfortable. People who've been rescued before assume they'll be rescued again. She mistook preparation for weakness.
When she was served, I wasn't there. I didn't need to be. By the time I walked back into that house, the marriage was already over. In court, the judge didn't take long. Divorce granted on grounds of adultery. Spousal support denied. She walked away with her clothes, some furniture, and the old Ford I bought her. That was it. No alimony, no rentals, no future access.
This isn't about punishment. It's about refusing to fund your own replacement. He didn't scream. He didn't beg. He documented and let the truth speak.
4 months later, I changed my number. 3 people had it. Everyone else didn't need access to my life anymore. No guilt texts, no apologies, no noise. Just distance and peace. She gambled a paid-off life on 2 secret lovers and walked away with nothing but a Ford and her silence. Thanks for staying with me through this story. If these stories resonate with you, if you've lived through something similar, or if you've watched a relationship fall apart in real time, consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. It helps these stories reach the people who need to hear them. And if you have a story of your own, a moment where everything changed, where the truth finally came out, you're welcome to share it. Leave it in the comments, or send it to us directly. We read every submission, and when we can, we do our best to visually recreate these stories with honesty, respect, and care. You're not alone in this. Thanks for watching.